Okay, true.
So how are you adjusting now that you're back to your regular day to day? Do you have a normal day job?
Yeah, I also work as a project manager. I think that's what you do too, right? Project manager for
Yeah,
a manufacturing firm or
that's
a
right.
company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I've gone part-time now, so it's a lot better, but I was like stressed trying to get everything situated when I first got back because it was like day job, then coaching, then coming back from Worlds, so it was kind of crazy.
Break. And it's like, I don't know for you, but like, how long did you stay at Worlds? Were you there? How long did you stay?
I got there 2 days beforehand, and then we left the day after I competed because we had booked a vacation to Rome.
Damn.
So we went to
Well,
Rome.
that's good. Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
So we went to Rome,
Okay.
and then we got back like that Saturday. So we had like a few days, and I started work on the following Tuesday. So I had a few days off. So it wasn't like immediately terrible, but it was fine.
It's okay, so you weren't actually at Worlds that long.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see, well, really, it was really just Waskar who I originally watched, and then obviously Jess and the 47s and Heather as well. But I didn't get to be in person for like Chelsea's and everyone else's session, unfortunately. But I watched on the live stream.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, when I could tune
Okay.
in, I would be like walking and I'd have the live stream pulled up.
While in Rome, no less.
Yeah, had to tune in for Team USA.
This so how does it feel? Because when you were when you competed, like Wasker stayed behind to help out. And I just dropped the podcast with Wasker today, actually. By the way, do you know his background story?
Not in depthly, so I'll have to listen. I'm not sure
Listen,
what's happening.
listen.
Okay.
I had no way. I won't do it justice right now.
Okay.
And he goes into great detail, and it's not, I had no freaking idea. I have
Okay.
people on this podcast sometimes that just open up on their background story sometimes.
Oh
And
man.
his you will there's no way you're gonna guess it. It's
Okay.
not um there's no way you're gonna guess this. It's
Okay.
absolutely no. And if you're like, I don't think so, you don't know then. It was I was rattled. So he'd come on the podcast previous to the World Championships,
Yeah.
and then he shot me a message, and I guess his girlfriend, after Sheffield, a bunch of people came on talking and really opening up about some stories,
Hmm.
and and then he came on, and then his girl was like, you didn't tell your story. Like, you didn't tell him your
Oh.
story. And he's like, yeah. And he shot me a message and said, next time I come on, I'm gonna tell my background story. And
Oh.
I was
Sounds so
like,
good.
and it's Nat, talk
Mm,
about like he's a sweet kid. I say kid, he's older than you, but
I know.
he's a
He's like a
sweet
real
kid,
adult
but
with like a child and everything.
married, real
Yeah,
job, the
he's a
whole
real
nine.
adult.
He's an adult as adult gets. Um, but he's such a sweet guy. But when you hear his story, like we know how it ends, so it's okay.
Okay.
But it's difficult. It
Oh.
is difficult to hear. Like, your heart breaks for him, and like some of it's very tough. And then yeah, it's I can't. But he it turns around, obviously, because the story ends well. He's
Good.
married, kids, good job, world champion, dedicated
Yeah.
the whole nine. But he's still, stuff from the past can still come back on you, and he talks about it. And
Mm.
it's funny because you never know people's background stories. You never know. You don't know.
Yeah.
You hang out with Wasker, like I was saying, and you think you
Yeah.
know him, and you do. You
Yeah.
know him, but some people got a story that yeah, it's surprising. Anyways, we were talking about the World Championship experience. So
Hmm.
he won, obviously, but he held back, stayed back, and was helping Team USA when you and
Yeah.
Brian Lee were competing the same day.
Yeah.
And like, I want to get into your story and your prep leading into it, and then your experience from your eyes. But he was saying he felt it as a competitor, hung back, saw your session, and your session really showed what sports can be like, where he was back there to see your victory and how happy you were. And he's so proud, and everybody's so proud of you. And the
No.
American anthem plays. and how you know, him seeing it back there and like loading weights, helping out, and you were looking for some motivation. He's like, you know, he's like, let me get, he's like
He
psyching
really
you up. Like,
was.
was he really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was so happy he was there. Like he was a piece of the puzzle that held me together, honestly. And I told him the
Really?
night
You'll be
before, yeah, he was
you'll be so
great.
happy to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. I told him
He's
like he messaged me, he was like, "Hey, I might be at your session with you and Brian." And I was like, "Please, if you can, come by." And he really did hold it together. He's
it's
awesome.
I told him like you don't know what it means when you're like in a tough dog fight like this, where like Jad Jacob, Team France, you
Yeah.
know, it's but then even the other 57s, everything. It's your very first world. You're on the opposite side of the world.
Mhm.
And when you're on your platform, if you're in Team USA, you look up and you see Team USA jackets around you.
Mhm.
Means something.
It does, yeah.
You feel more comfortable. And then
Yeah.
he's there, he just won.
Yeah.
He's got that glow on him. You know,
Yeah.
he just won. He's all positive and whatnot, and he's there. You're both coached by the same coach, Steve. So you're like
Yeah.
team, you know, and I don't know. It means something. Even if I know he was help hyping you up, but I told him like even if you weren't, even when you're just your presence sometimes, when you're a little nervous, if you look to your left, you look to your right, and you got your people with you,
Yep.
you're a little less.
It's
You're a
exactly
little
what I
less
did.
nervous. You
I
don't
would
got
look
to
up, see him, and I'd go on the platform.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's and sometimes people are like other people, like Wasker knows what to say. But sometimes people like, I don't even know what to say. It didn't say much. It's like you don't gotta say a lot sometimes. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes presence is enough,
Yeah.
you know?
Very, very true.
Um,
Very true.
but him talking about his experience when he was doing your session and helping out back there, it was you and Brian. And so
Mm.
you had your experience, and then at the same session, same time, he got to see Brian pulling and missing and how it hurts
Yeah.
because you know, he likes like everyone likes Brian. Brian's such a nice guy.
Yeah, he really is.
And oh, he's so nice. Like
He's
most
a
people
goober.
are, but
Yeah.
it yeah, it's difficult. Most people who are like, I don't like Brian, it's like, nah, that sounds weird
Mm,
to me.
yeah.
You know? But and he would see that, and it's like, and at the same time, he was back there for when Penna won. And
Hmm.
when Team France realized they won, and Penna, you know, everything with Penna's story, his
Yeah.
dad and everything, and he literally fell to the ground and just like started crying, and the
Yeah.
whole team was like around him, like grabbing him and hugging him and
Yeah.
kissing him, and he ran out to see his dad, and he's like, it's we were just talking about how like sports at that level, at that the highest level, which is like world title, brings out these emotions. And when you're competing, sometimes you got your blinders on and you're just doing your thing. But him being back there with his blinders off, and now he's aware to helping
Yeah.
out, so he's aware of other people. He got a different experience backstage. So in his short time there, he got to experience both, like the beauty of winning, the agony of defeat, the and you know, Penna came back, Brian can come back, but the
Yeah.
whole and he tasted it himself. It's so emotionally
Oh
so
God.
then people I know. And then people like me and you go back to our day job as project managers, like, ah shit,
Mm,
answering emails.
I know. Yeah, it's
It's
not as
tough.
fun.
Yeah. But yeah, like leading into it, how did you feel leading into your first world championships? Did you feel pressure? Did you feel, you know, excitement? Were you, how was it?
I think I didn't really put any like pressure on my shoulders like I have in the past. I had my goal to go 9 for 9. That's what I focused on. There, versus thinking about, oh my God, I have to be a world champion with XYZ, framing it that way. So I just focused on what I could do and making my lifts. But for the first time ever, I'm always nervous before I compete. But this
Mm.
time I was like, I'm ready. Like I want to do this. Like,
Really?
yeah, I was like actually feeling very good going into this. And I was like actually like happy, like really, really excited versus overwhelmingly nervous. Obviously, I was both, but I was more so just so ready to step on the platform. I was very excited.
It's interesting. Well, first off, that was visible. It was so during it, did you watch the stream back yet or no?
Yeah, I did. I watched it like on the plane ride. I downloaded it off of YouTube and I watched it on the way
Good,
back.
good.
Yeah.
It was visible. Like you were like giddy.
I don't
at
know why I
times.
was skipping.
You
I've
were
never
skipping.
skipped.
You
I've
were
never skipped in my
skipping.
life. And I was like, hee hee,
What?
just got my opener. Like,
You were like a schoolgirl out there.
I
It was like, oh my
know.
God, what is happening, man? You
Between
could
like
tell.
between me skipping and like Megan Scanlon like running off the platform, there's some good energy going on.
Yeah. But like that's why like usually when people say like I wasn't nervous, I was excited. I'm like, ah, you had to be a little nervous. Like,
Yeah.
but you legit look like you were totally excited and just in the moment, just loving life. Even
Yeah.
openers, you're like amazing.
I was like, yay, we made it.
Right through.
Yeah.
What
I
was
was very happy.
what was like before this happened, obviously with Sheffield, we have Battle of the 57s, and everyone had seen last year at the World Championships, Jad Jacob pushed Joey Namani to the brink. And then
Yeah.
we had the rematch. And by the time the rematch happened at Sheffield, Jad had taken the world record.
Hmm.
And we talked in DMs about when you decided to come over from USAPL. I was like,
Hmm.
first off, hats off to you because the 57 kilo class, this is stacked.
It's stacked.
These are
Yeah.
killers. Yeah. And so going into your decision, you told me like you're both nervous and scared, nervous and excited at the same
Yeah.
time. And you're like, I I want to be the best of the best. This is where the best are. Maybe talk a little bit about your decision. Like you knew there was going to be fights coming. You knew, like you thought at the time maybe Joey was still going to stay there as
Yeah.
well, but you still decided to come over.
Mhm. I mean, like at the end of the day, I don't think I could sleep at night if I had chosen like quote unquote easy route where I wasn't going against the best of the best because obviously Jod and Joy, well, before Joy moved up, were the best of the best of 57s. And I
Mm,
know that there are going to be more people pushing to get to the top spot every single year. And I feel like on the women's side, at least, the IPF is the most competitive federation. And to win a world title means so much. Like that is the end goal. That has been my goal since I started lifting. So if I could go for that, whether it was this year that happened, next year that it would happen, whatever year it would happen, I'd want to go for that.
and when you saw Sheffield, and you saw the Battle of the 57s, what were you thinking? Were you thinking, wow, I got my work cut out for me. I'm going to have to work hard. Or were you thinking, I think I could do this? Did he give you encouragement? How was that? How did that sway you?
Well, one, it made me want to be there watching it. I was like, man,
There.
that's pretty dang cool.
He was, it's only the coolest, right?
Yeah, it's
But
pretty cool. And then I mean, it honestly did excite me because I saw like all these high level competitors and just being able to like show out on the platform and do their thing. And I wanted to be part of that group. And so I feel like it's really exciting to be in the 57s where it's pushing each other constantly. Like I know Jad and I will go head to head again, I'm sure at Sheffield and probably at next Worlds whenever we match up again. But who knows who else is going to be in the mix too. I know it's going to be good.
well, okay. Yeah. I don't want to skip ahead too much in the storytelling, but obviously, even before Worlds, Celine the Machine said she's coming over,
Oh yeah.
but she's going 63, I think, right?
I think so. From what I've seen on Instagram, I think she said 63s.
Right. But you never know. So many people are crossing. Like
Yeah.
after Sheffield, after Worlds, Russ was like,
Oh yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm so upset. I'm missing this.
Yeah.
Brennan Petrie's like, I'm coming. A
Yeah.
lot of people are going to be coming.
You
But
gotta
on
go
the
through
women's side,
nationals first. You gotta go through
well, this is
nationals before you can get
it's
the
going to be a
worlds.
it's going to be a bottleneck now.
It really
It's getting
is.
right.
Like I feel
Di-
like last or this past February, it was competitive. There are people fighting for their spots, but looking ahead at next year's roster, it's going to be very very tight. So it's not like a breeze to step on Team USA. You're still going to have to earn that spot.
it's going to get harder and harder and harder every single year.
Yep.
And this world's leading into it. When I seen how stacked the roster was, there's like Wasker was like, I'm a 59 and we had two flights. Like that never happens.
Yeah.
And you going in the 57s. So you knew you're going against Jad Jacob.
Mhm.
Your expectations then, was it easier just to focus on, because she's obviously heavily hyped and rightfully so. She's
Yeah.
a
She's
phenomenal
insane.
lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about her in the DMs. And after Sheffield, you were like, I think she had more even.
Yeah.
You were like, she's incredible. You knew what you were facing. And obviously she's part of Team France, was just highly ranked with the women's. Were you anticipating, did you just like take the pressure off by saying, I'm not focusing on her, the title, and just your performance? Or because it's tough to do that when it's a world title. It's tough to do that when the dream is if if I'm a world
Yeah.
champion, you
Yeah, it
know?
is. Like I know she's an incredible, phenomenal lifter. And when I was, making my prep and doing my thing leading up to Worlds, like Steve did all his scouting and saying like where he thinks people were going to end up at. And he sent it to me and I was like, yeah, I'm not reading that. Like, I don't want to look at
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So like he pretty much laid out our plan. And he was like, if you hit 9 for 9, you're in the driver's seat. You can take this world championship. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to focus on then. If I can go 9 for 9, then I know that I've won. I don't know. I don't know what was loaded on her last pool. I didn't realize that she could have possibly pulled into the lead or what was happening, but I knew that I went 9 for 9. And that was what I focused on for my entire prep and on meet day and on everything. So I wasn't really worried about what she would hit because I know like my strength and how much stronger I got over prep. So I was really focusing on that.
And it was, it's remarkable. Like this is the comeback story. This is almost a year to the day, just 3 years off to
Yeah.
when you bombed out of USAPL, which
Yeah.
is like a great comeback story for anybody who is down in the dumps for
Yeah.
whatever performance. I
Yeah.
remember when it happened, I remember messaging you saying like, you know who bombed at like whatever
Yes, Taylor Atwood. Yep.
yes, Taylor Atwood. I was
I
like, you could
remember.
do this. Right. And
Yes.
here you are, like now you're best lifter at IPF Worlds. It's tough, man. Sports is
Yeah.
tough. It's the same thing like where I was talking about Wasker seeing that he experienced and seen live the bitter and the sweet. And in just
Yeah.
1 year's time, you felt the bitter and the sweet.
Yeah.
Um, but when you got to Worlds, did it feel when you show up, you watched Wasker live, you watched the 47s live, were you did it feel like holy smokes, this is Worlds? Like for myself, when I show up at the venue, I start seeing people who are international there, people you only usually see on Instagram, and
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
there. Eurosports there,
Yeah.
Eurosports like doing highlights and stuff like that. Like, how did it feel?
Well, let me clarify. I watched Waskar and Jess and everyone on my phone from my hotel room because I couldn't. I
Ah,
couldn't go down to the venue. I just couldn't. I
right.
actually
Well,
went
that's
out,
fair.
yeah, and I like did like moderate like hiking the day beforehand. Not sure if that's recommended, but I had to go
Well,
see the sights there a little bit. But I watched them on my phone because I just felt like mentally, I prepared. I have like my armor up, ready to go. So I didn't
yeah.
want to step into there and like see the ups and downs necessarily live. I wanted to feel the energy for the first time when I went out for my squat, so I could, get some good juju going for the day.
It's interesting because some people want to show up beforehand to take away stigma to be familiar. So when
Yeah,
they go out there, they're not as nervous and they're like, okay, I see it. And then some people want to see it for the first time on game day
yeah.
and keep that excitement.
Yeah, I like after I weighed in, Arian, who was handling me, took me out and showed me the platform. He showed me where the stands were, and he like had me like walk around, so I wasn't gonna be so scared coming out for my first squat. So I did get like a little bit more familiar with it before we started warming up.
That's a good idea, huh?
Yeah, yeah, he's a good handler.
Well, I mean, he's been to so many worlds. It's crazy. He's been at
Yeah,
world championships for like the last 10 years doing
yeah,
this.
absolute pro.
Um, yeah, he's a good handler. Talking it, that's for sure. In terms of the battle plan, was this like, did you have to call any audibles, or was this straight up like the same numbers you had coming in and you never really had to deviate?
Yeah, it was the exact same numbers coming in. The way that we planned our, game days, we have like 3 options pretty much for each attempt. If things feel like great, then we'll go for the higher option. If they feel like meh, go for the middle or go for like the lower option. So we went for the top option like every single time, like where we were expected to kind of hit. Because I just had a really good day. Maybe a little bit more conservative on bench, but we didn't really need to push bench extremely high. But every lift, I think we had. Yeah.
The thing with bench, especially in the women's division, like 52, 57, etc., your bench can progress because I know you hit 107.5 before,
Mhm.
but your bench can progress, but it has to progress 2.5 kilos.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it might not always be visible on the platform because it's progressed, just not 2.5 kilos. It's at like 1.5 kilos right now.
Yeah. And then
So it's
training,
kind of like,
yeah, like 110 was like hit or miss. Like I was hitting it right before we left, but then I was like, okay, is it going to be there on meet day? Why risk it if I could just hit 107.5?
take the sure money for sure.
Yeah.
And when you were in like, because you weighed relatively light. You were like you were 55.9 or something.
Yeah, it was like 55.8 for some reason.
What happened there? What was that about?
So, like, I'll definitely make a longer post on this, but I dieted down previously. I got, I started early this time because I knew I didn't want to risk anything doing a water cut over, flying or having to deal with that when I got there. So I dieted
For
down
sure.
more to 57 and a half to 58 kilos. And then I did a gut cut. And I got down to 56 and a half. And then I woke up at 56.2 and I ate and I drank throughout the day and I just got really, really stressed and I just lost like 0.4 kilos before I stepped and weighed in. So I just got
Oh my
nervous.
gosh.
Yeah. I was like, I ate, like I drank a protein shake, but I just lost a little bit more weight in the afternoon, but I still ate like normal.
It was just like, do you think like the stress?
Yeah, I was just, I was just a little nervous. And I had like all day. So, I still like walked around and saw some stuff and, then I went out for weigh-ins at like 4 and hung out and then weighed in at 55.8. But
See,
I wasn't dehydrated. I drank plenty of water throughout the day.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
You could go in there feeling like that. See, that's my secret too, is
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Just stress yourself out and you'll lose weight. Just kidding. Don't
you
do
look
that.
you look fantastic, feel
Yeah.
like shit. But you'll and when you were in there at the weigh-ins, did it start getting real when you look around and you see all the international jackets when you're in the weigh-ins and there's like you had never met Jad before, right?
Yeah, I hadn't, and I also like hadn't met any of these other girls too. And
Maya Da Silva,
I
Bobby Butters.
know. Oh my gosh. I was waiting for weigh-ins. I was like the next person in line, and Bobby came out, and I was like, there's Bobby Butters. I didn't want to bother her though till after, she competed and everything, but she's awesome. I've watched her
Oh yeah.
forever. So it was awesome to meet everyone. After we kind of talked more, we didn't really talk before we competed because everyone was doing their own thing.
It's when I went back there for the 57s and everyone knows when a battle's coming. Like it's always going to be tense in the warm-up room at IPF Worlds. But when I went back there for the 57s,
Was it tense?
you could feel it. It's tangible. Like, that expression where like you see you could feel it. You legitimately can sometimes walk in a room and you see certain people and like eyes are darting around. Certain people are not looking around. Certain people, when they're standing, they're still moving because they can't straight up stand still. And people are like, I love going in the warm-up rooms before the session and feeling it. And
Mm.
just being like the tension is tangible.
Ooh, ooh.
And looking around and like I like to say good luck to people, whatever the heck, but
Yeah,
there's nothing quite like that moment before a big battle when you
yeah,
know it's about to happen. And you were right in the middle of like one of the most anticipated ones.
yeah.
Sheffield 57 kilo showdown winner, the reigning world record holder. What was it like in the warm-up room right before everything was about to go down?
Yeah. So, pretty much, I ate quickly and then pretty much immediately put on my headphones because I didn't want to talk to anyone. And
Mm.
like Arian, will just tell me when I need to go or when I need to start getting ready, put my gear on. So I just immediately wanted to get in my zone because I don't want to get distracted by what anyone else is doing, or anyone else trying to talk or do stuff. So as soon as I got back there, went to the bathroom,
Mm.
changed, ate some food, drank some water, I just put my headphones on so I can get in my zone and get ready to go. And then afterwards talk to everyone else after
Are you
after everything.
are you looking over like I had Penn on the podcast? He's straight up mean mugging people. He's like, yeah, oh yeah, he's
Oh
like
my God. He's so nice.
he's a nice afterwards fine. Afterwards
Yeah,
fine.
he's super
But
nice.
in the warm-up room, he's mean mugging
Oh
people. He's
God.
like purposely because he needs that. Some people need certain
Yeah.
things like that. Are you like avoiding eye contact? I'm in my zone. I'm doing my thing. I don't want even want to see what you're doing.
I think I literally sit there with my eyes closed. Like I
Oh,
literally am just sitting there like this with my arms crossed and either looking down or my eyes are closed. And then I'll look at Arian or he'll tap my shoulder and then I do my next warm up. Like I don't look
I think I've
around.
seen pictures of you like that.
Yeah, I literally look like I'm like just sleeping almost. Like I just have my head down. I'm focusing on my music, getting the game
Yeah.
plan ready. Yeah. Yeah. I can't look
And when
around. I get distracted. Gotta stay focused.
and you can easily get pulled into someone else's world.
Yeah. If you're looking at someone else's warm up and you're like, oh man, that moved like really fast. Oh, gotta move this really fast. Like it's stupid. You
Yeah,
can't, think about what they're doing. Focus on yourself.
it will not help.
Yeah,
It
it will
will
not
not help.
help.
So when you get told, you get the pat on the shoulder, go time.
Yeah.
and it's time to take the earphones off, and you're about to go out there and squat. You walk onto the platform, look out, and you see the crowd. Do you see the crowd? Are you paying attention? Because you were energized.
I could definitely hear Team USA yelling. That was the only thing that I heard. I heard Chelsea out there. I think I heard Heather out there too, like cheering for me. So that was really, really awesome. But when I got out there, I didn't try to look around. I just tried to mimic my setup I always do, focus on setting my hands, getting under the bar, like getting a nice, tight back and bracing and everything. So I was focused on executing and listening to the commands when I squat so I don't, overthink it. And then after I rack the bar and I look at the lights, then I kind of hear everything else happening around me. But when I'm squatting, I can only like really focus on the rough.
Real, and then afterwards, you were
Afterwards, I'm like,
kind of like,
yay,
yeah,
skipping around or whatever I was trying to do.
right. It's once you break that, like I've seen in Sheffield, and it's crazy. You're going to be a Sheffield. Sheffield's a whole nother monster in that. But I remember people coming out to Sheffield trying to be in the zone, and it's 2,000 people who are like some of them drinking. They're like selling beers at concessions, whatever. It is the wildest. It is like a freaking rock party. When you're in the warm up room, you hear the boom, boom.
Oh God.
It,
It's so
yeah.
exciting.
And they're like,
uh,
and Eric Helms was like, is that TV on? And he tried to like, he's like I hear the sound in it. And then he was fucking around with the TV and he put his hand on the wall. He's like, oh my God, it's coming through the wall. Like,
oh
that's
my
the crowd.
God.
He thought the TV monitor was
That's
playing the noise.
insane.
He's like, I'm gonna turn it down. He's like, oh my God. So for the first time when I seen people on the platform at Sheffield, you could see the look on their face. It was Evie Corrigan's, and she was like,
Oh God.
and she's been the world's.
Yeah,
She's been in, her battles where she's like, holy smokes. When you're out there, are you paying attention to what the other girls are doing?
not at all. I have no idea what's happening. Like, especially with this meet, I really, really focused on myself to where the point was I was coming off the platform. I was looking, at the floor after I, celebrated and walking back, and I didn't sit in the warm up room. I went around the corner and sat by myself in a
Oh,
chair because I didn't want
wow.
to look
That's
at
a good,
anyone or think about anything else. So I just sat by myself.
you totally were in the zone.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, Waskar was back there too, though. Like, so when I could get up, I could give him a look. He'd be like, go get him. So then I would go back out, do my thing, come back, sit in my corner and focus.
So you were like outside of the warm up room?
Yeah. The warm room was like here. I went around the corner, went around the wall and sat over here.
Yeah, yeah. Because they
Yeah.
had the doors open. So you're just
Yeah.
like on the other side, basically.
Yep.
And
Yep.
the team would pop their head in and be like, you're up.
Yeah. Pretty much Arian would be like, all right, you're ready to go. But I didn't look at the TV at all until after I pulled my last deadlift. Then I watched Jean, but that was pretty much it.
Holy smokes. And this is like, maybe this is the way to go.
It's just what really works for me, I think. Especially I did pretty much the same thing at nationals. Like I didn't have as many girls going against me, but I still focused on myself that way, and that really seemed to help. And this time around, it really helped me stay in the zone and to just be able to execute.
When did Wasker start hyping you up? Was it like for the thirds or was it before the opener? Or...
Well, everyone was being really quiet during my squat warm-ups because I took my headphones off to hear, some practice commands and stuff. And I was like, guys, why is everyone being so quiet? And so Waskar was like, do you want hype? And I was like,
Ah!
yes. And so he was like,
First
let's
off,
go.
your Wasker impression's amazing, first off.
Obviously. But then he was like, okay. So we started getting hype from there. And every time I would go
Yeah.
out, he'd clap his hands. And especially on the last deadlift, he was like, give it everything you got. You're here for a reason. Like show them, go out there and do your
Yeah.
thing. And so, yeah, it was really cool.
Were you able to pay attention at all to Brian Lee?
Uh, it was so hard because like when I got off the platform, I pretty much had to go to the bathroom and start warming up. Like we did not have a long break, so I didn't know where he was. I didn't know what was happening. I think I saw like maybe his arms were cramping at some point during deadlift, and his grip was kind of
Yeah.
bothering him. That's the only thing I saw, but I didn't want to interrupt him, like point something out and bother him. So I just kind of let him do his thing, and then I kind of did my thing. But it
Right.
was a nice chill presence being on the same platform with him because he's just like a super nice guy and just having fun.
He's super chill.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
super
if
chill.
perfect way to describe him.
Yeah.
So in the squad event, you go 3 for 3. Jad Jacob goes 3 for 3. The difference is you paced yourself so well because you opened up, and here's kind of says the story here in terms of attempt selection. And this is where Matt Gary talks about when it comes to attempt selection, it's not about where you start, it's where you end up.
Mhm.
And you can overtax, like drain the systems if you're too heavy at the top end. Now,
Right.
this can happen by accident where you don't know where you're at that day. So you're pacing for much more on your third. And it
Mhm.
kind of sort of looked like that was Jet. So what happened was, for everyone listening, you opened up with 165, jumped to 172.5, then jumped to 180, and you're moving at a clip that was perfect. I mean,
Mhm.
your third, you look like you had more in the tank. You weren't overdrained. In 7.5 kilo jump, you had plenty of energy from there. Jad opened up 172.5. Jad's got a big bench.
Yeah.
Um, you got a bigger bench, but Jad's got a serviceable bench, but she's got a big deadlift. And
Mhm.
she's, for the first time in years, Joey Namani lost a deadlift battle at Sheffield, and someone took her deadlift record. So Joe or Jad's deadlift is like she can pull from behind if she needs to.
Mhm.
So on the surface, if you were watching, it would have been based off of openers, and it's a good thing you weren't watching. And this is
Yeah.
where openers lie. This is where openers lie.
Yeah.
Where you'd be like, well, if we're taking the same jumps, oh my God, where's Jad going to end up? That's where openers can be deceiving. So
Mhm.
Jad opened up 172.5, which was your second attempt. So on the surface level, she could be quite a bit ahead.
Mhm.
Hits 180, which is your third attempt. Again, on the surface level, she could be quite ahead. But what actually happens, 180 was a scrap for Jad. I don't think Team France anticipated that. They must have been anticipating she's around 185 range or something like that. She ended up
Mhm.
only jumping up to 182.5. After her second attempt, and you saw it on the live stream, I guess, when you watched it over,
Mhm.
it was a fight. And to come out for 2.5 more kilos was going to be another fight. And
Yeah.
she was going to fight for that 2.5 kilos to do so. So if you were watching live, it was surprising for her. She's 2.5 kilos up, but she's fought twice now, and you haven't fought yet. So it was encouraging for Team USA. On the flip side, Maya de Silva from Spain um, goes 170, 177.5, misses 180, but it's just 2.5 kilos, and she looks not too much worse for wear. Bobby Butters, though, 175, 182.5, and Bobby, who has continuously broken the world record, missed 186. Which that's tough. I mean,
Yeah. She's
Bobby's
awesome.
Bobby.
Yeah.
She always goes for that world record. She's a phenomenal squatter.
Yep.
She's team subtotal. That's where she needs to build
Yeah.
her total from.
I think she had the biggest subtotal of all of us. I think she had like 2.5 kilos more than anyone else on subtotal.
If the lights went out before deadlift started, Bobby Butters is like the world champion 5 times over.
Yeah. She is
Right?
an awesome
Rating world,
subtotal.
an amazing subtotal.
Yep.
So what are you even seeing people coming off the platform? Do you get a vibe even if someone's missed, or can you not even tell? Or does Team USA even keep you updated? Like this person missed, this person hit, or are you going to bench press totally getting no updates whatsoever?
Uh, no updates whatsoever. Because I
Oh
didn't,
wow.
yeah, like I'm telling you, like this really worked for me. Like I told Steve and Arian, like, don't tell me what's happening. Don't tell me where I am in the like leaderboards. I don't care what's happening. Let's just focus on going 9 for 9. So after I, got 3 for 3 on squats, I texted Steve and I was like, hey, that was pretty good. And he was like, yeah, that was awesome. Squats moved great. Go ahead and get ready for bench press, things like that. So just focusing on what I'm lifting and how I'm doing, it was really all the pace that we kind of needed. So we didn't have to like chase anyone else or worry about that. Well, Arian could, but I didn't have to.
Right. That's
Yeah.
why he's there. And
Yeah.
Steve wasn't letting the cat out the bag in the messages.
No, he was like just sending like some incoherent messages like, wow, that was
Like
awesome,
all these, thumbs up emojis
Yeah,
and
it was
whatever. And you're like,
actually,
okay,
yeah.
take it easy. You're too happy, you know.
Yeah, his only feedback after I won Worlds was just like 500 thumbs up emojis. No, just kidding. But
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the bench press, you start at 190, or sorry, you started at 97.5, ended up with 107.5, going 3 for 3. Jad hit 95. She's hit 100 before, but she missed 97.5 and retook it. Maya Da Silva ends off with 90 kilos. Bobby Butters now team subtotal, and even though she's leading on subtotal, missed 110.
Mhm.
So she's missed her third squat, missed her third bench press, and now becomes a little bit vulnerable because Maya Da Silva, who's the junior world champion, she's got a deadlift.
Yeah.
So this is where there becomes you're not paying attention to this at the time, but there's a battle for gold. And now we got ourselves a good old fashioned shootout for that bronze medal. Bobby
Yeah.
Butters was going to be probably a favorite to hit the podium, but Maya Da Silva was going to be a weapon if she could
Yeah.
get there. So the doors of opportunity swung open for Maya, and we moved into the deadlift event. How was deadlifts flowing for you? Did you when you were warming up? Are you now a little more listening around and getting a vibe of the room?
No,
Still no, perfect.
this whole time here, I'm just vibing with myself and my headphones on.
With
Um,
myself.
yeah. But deadlifts were going good, warming up, quick turnaround from bench, but I honestly like these faster paced meets anyways. So I was fine with it. I was hydrated coming in, so I wasn't cramping. I felt good. Warming up felt like absolutely like the same, like I was at the gym or something. So I felt, not worried about the weight, just going out and doing my thing. So it felt good.
And you went 3 for 3. Again, started appropriately. You had like the perfect jumps, 200 to 215 to 225.
Mhm.
And that was always the plan going in?
Yep, we wavered on whether we wanted to jump to 212 or 215 after my opener because we wanted to see. I know Steve had mentioned this briefly. If we wanted to kind of like start pushing, Jad to have to, go heavier on her deadlifts or whatever. So I knew when they put 215 in, that meant we had, started to push a little bit, like force people to make mistakes. So I was totally happy with jumping to 215. Like I've jumped, 20 kilos in training, so I'm comfortable with big jumps. So, I mean, 215 moved the fastest I think it's ever moved. So I felt like I could pull anything on the third, whatever they loaded, I was going to go out there and pull it regardless.
Right. So you came out first, hit 225. And at this point in time, you just went 9 for 9. Are you aware what your total is? Did you realize before you pulled or after? When did you find out you're at 512.5, which is monster at a world championship, no less?
I didn't, calculate my total or anything till after. I was just like so just hyped up and feeling all the emotions after I pulled and knowing that I had won. And then I finally like settled down, looked at my lifts. It went eventually to the media room and they were telling me my total and everything. And I was like, oh, 512 kilos and a half. That's crazy. Like I didn't, I wasn't thinking about that until after the fact. I was just trying to feel everything and just soak it all in.
So obviously there was a little bit of controversy. Jad ended up pulling to tie you, but she was heavier, not lighter. Did
Right.
you know that at the time when it was happening? Did someone tell you?
So yeah, I came back after I pulled my ass pool, took off my headphones and everything. I was watching the TV, watching Jod, and I was, crying and trying to like watch at the same time because I was just very emotional. And some guy next to me was like, "You've won," and I'm like, "No, she still has her last pool." And he was like, "No, you've won," and I was like, explain. So he explained to me how she didn't have any, she couldn't change her deadlift attempt. They didn't load the right weight. They needed to do a half kilo more because I was beating her on body weight even if she did pull it. So I knew in that moment that I had one. And then I cried a little bit more and it was like, very emotional. And I watched her and, I know that she can pull. I know that she'll probably come back with an even stronger pull next time. But she's just like an awesome competitor and we got to talk after she came off the platform and kind of like hug and shake hands. And yeah, it was crazy.
It was tough because at the time live, I seen the attempt change come in.
Mhm.
And on our screen that we watch on the monitor, we have like both sessions because earlier there's the B team,
Mhm.
like the B session. So we seen the attempt change come in, and I stood up because I couldn't see Jad's the actual weight, but I assume okay, she's pulling for the win.
Yeah.
So I stood up and I'm watching it live on the platform, and I'm no
Yeah.
longer looking at the monitor. So I also did not see that they made a mistake and didn't pull because you just assume, okay, attempt change comes in, you're
Yeah.
pulling for the win. I also didn't know until after the fact, it's like, oh no, but she didn't. I mean, she missed it. So
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
thank God, it's probably better she did, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then it was yeah, it was a bizarre circumstance. Somebody told me that, did she know ahead of time that she wasn't pulling for the win? Did you hear that as well?
I did hear that. I think it was Solana. I was talking to her last week. She said that she messaged Jod, and Jod said that before, if this is wrong, Jod, please correct me. But Jod had said that as she was taking off her headphones and walking out on the platform, she heard that her coaches say, this is a mistake or this isn't right or something like that. But they said it was too late anyways, and she had to go. So she knew that something was up, at least what I've heard, and she went on the platform and still pulled, like still gave it her best, even though
Right,
I think she knew in her heart that it wasn't for the gold.
right. Yeah, it's a tough circumstance, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. You had an absolutely perfect 9 for 9 day in. So you were crying ahead of time then. Even before Jad pulled, you actually legitimately were like, look, I just want my 9 for 9 and do the best I can. And
Yeah.
was it just tears of joy that you did so well?
I was so happy. Like, oh, that was like the best moment ever. I was like, oh my God, I just pulled 225 kilos and like, who knows if I won? I think I won, but I was just so proud of myself for going 9 for 9 and doing everything that we set out to do and hitting the numbers that we wanted. So it was awesome.
And so if Jad was pulling for the gold and hit that, would you still, because you're already so proud of yourself, would you still have been like, you know what? I can live with that because I hit my 9 for 9. I did my best.
Well, I think I would be happy, but I wouldn't be as happy as I am, now. Like, I'd rather have both.
100%.
I'd rather have both,
Yeah.
but I mean, at the end of the day, I did exactly what I could do. I did my very best. I played, the game and what, Steve and Arian thought I could do. So I'd be proud of myself regardless. And, I know the best lifter is going to win on the day. And if Jad had pulled that, then she's the best lifter on that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a good way of looking at it, like, because it's so much pressure in when you come that close to a world title
Mhm.
and you have to sit back there and watch someone else pull. It's the most nerve-wracking. It's like
Yeah,
what Penna was doing with Brian Lee.
exactly. And like, this has been my first meet where I'm not the last puller because I always have had the heaviest deadlift. And going into this meet, I was actually not the heaviest deadlifter. So
Really? So
yeah,
this
I've
is the
always pulled
unique for
last.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like you just got to build your totals a little bit of different, strategy. You don't have to rely on what can you load at the, last lift of the day, but how can you build yourself up to where you have to force people to do stuff that they aren't comfortable with.
It That's when gamesmanship becomes part of it.
Mhm.
That's when Penna talks about that. And he was saying, like, his dad asked him when they were going into deadlifts, are you the best deadlifter? And he goes, today I am. And
Oh.
it was like, oh, ice cold. It was like,
Ooh.
wow. Because it just matters what you hit.
Yeah.
In any day, who knows? And he had the exact same mentality where it's like, I'm gonna load up as much as I can, hit
Mhm.
as heavy as I can, and make you guys overreach. And it's true. Like, it's more comfortable, I guess, to be the last deadlifter because you get to load up exactly what you need.
Mhm.
But if you play the game right, you just have to almost be at peace with it, like you were with your 9 for 9 day, and be
Yeah.
like, look, whatever happens, I left my best on the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And when you won the world championships, how did it feel?
It's kind of hard to put into words because like I've thought about competing on the world stage since I literally started powerlifting and I was watching
Really?
like Meg lift. I remember watching I think Maddie Forberg was even on Team USA when I first started lifting, if
This
you
is
remember her.
2019.
Yeah, I remember watching her as well, like way back when I first started lifting. I was like, that's crazy. I wonder how you get there. And I was that's just been a goal forever. And then when it actually happens, it doesn't almost feel real, just like a lot of emotions.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you're on the platform and it's like the medal ceremony and they're playing the American anthem and you're getting your
Mhm.
gold medal,
Yeah.
it's surreal. Who was there with you at the time?
Like,
Did you have like your friends,
oh
family, the
yeah.
whole nine?
My boyfriend came with me, and then both my parents actually came too, which was
That's
awesome.
good.
So I
Yeah.
like, I swear I saw my dad after my last deadlift for a second. He was like, Yeah, in the crowd or something. Like I swear, I saw that, and then I ran back to the warm-up room. But it was really, really nice having my
Really?
parents there. Yeah.
He did the double fist
Yeah, he
pump?
was like, yeah, yeah. And I could see, my parents recording and everything during the awards ceremony. So it was awesome having them there.
Parents are always parents, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Is he normally like reserved?
Yeah, he used to be. I think he's grown out of his shell a little bit, and now he's a little bit more excited. And he's gotten really into powerlifting to where he's like listening to podcasts now. And
What? Is he really?
he listens to them before I do. Like I don't even know when they're out. And he's like, I just listened to this podcast. Have you heard this and stuff like that? Yeah,
What? He's
yeah,
like odd. He's like, I don't know. They're saying Taylor's injured, but I don't know.
yeah. He's like starting to
he's
listen to them now. It's awesome. But yeah, he's
he's
getting
like
into it.
he's like, look at this guy Anatoly Novopismani, and he can pronounce his name and everything's like coming out of Ukraine. I don't know. It's a hell of a story.
That's gonna be him. I swear. That's gonna be him one day. He's getting into it though. He's getting into it. And that reminds me, like he's a dad of dads. Because I flew with my boyfriend and they flew out from Raleigh separately. And on the plane, I think he saw a powerlifter that I can't remember who it was, who represented USVI. And like the guy was just sitting there, and my dad like turned around and says, like, do you powerlift? And then he was like, do you know my daughter? And like was telling him about me and like trying to exchange names and stuff. And he was just trying to chat up people like the entire time who looked like they lifted.
It's probably the wildest. If you think about like being a parent and somebody's like, I'm gonna try this sport out, like not somebody, your son or daughter, or like, I'm gonna try name a sport. And you're like, all right, cool. And
Cool.
then
Yeah.
things escalate so quickly to be like, I'm going to the world championships. It's a massive battle. There's podcasts going out, preview shows. Companies are making like I seen your Road to World's hype video by
Mm-hmm.
SPD. And this is like they're taking, I don't know if you've seen, I didn't actually see, but Eurosport has like the highlights of it. And it looks a lot like the way it was described to me. Have you seen those White Lights Media condensed versions?
Yes.
Amazing, huh?
They look so good. Yeah. Who they just do recently? I can't remember, but there was the
Oh my God, did they drop a
74s.
new one?
I don't think
Well,
so. I think the
74s, yeah.
it was 74s I just watched. But yeah, they look really, really cool.
So Eurosport, who has millions of people, watching on because that's like their TSN in Europe or
Right.
ESPN, sorry, in Europe. They're doing condensed version highlights as well, though, of all the different classes.
Oh
So
wow.
people are going to be watching you all over Europe with like a sweet like edit, the whole kind of like that. The way it's
So
described to me,
cool.
like a condensed version of it. I'm
Oh
like, damn
man.
it, I wish I could see these things. But
Yeah.
this is how this is a huge like, and if it looks anything like the White Lights Media versions, our sport's going to grow
Yeah, that's
because those are
insane.
amazing.
They
And
are.
true fans will sit down and watch from front to back like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But maybe if you're new to it, those condensed versions will get you like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Then when you get invested by the SPD Road to Worlds, SPD Road to Sheffield, in all the different media packages, then you're like, I'll watch the 3 hours. This
Yeah.
it's actually a good plan to help grow the sport,
I
to
like
get
it.
the
That's so
public.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially the way it's not we didn't have this before. White Lights Media is murdering it.
Yeah.
They're what they did is like so well done. And I'm told the Eurosport versions are extremely well, like some people obviously living in Europe are telling me they're
Okay.
very well done too. This is like it's going to get bigger and bigger. That's why this world's like Sheffield was huge for powerlifting. Um, this world's is huge, and the European representation is going to grow like crazy due to like this Eurosport
Yeah.
stuff because it becomes like for us it's niche over here, but in Europe with these like highlight packages that they're doing as well as live sessions, and it's the women's 84 plus, which was insane.
That was insane. I
um
watched that one too. Yeah.
did you really? Okay, you
Yeah.
watched that one too. You were
Yeah.
like in Rome in the Colosseum, like, yeah, let's go. You're like,
Yeah,
damn.
just surrounded by this beautiful architecture and just like look at this live stream. It's crazy.
You're like, "Fuck your knees." But anyways, too soon. But yeah, Eurosport, they picked a good session, obviously, with the 84 pluses.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Europe, like the sport growing in Europe, but this kind of thing, can you imagine ESPN was showing like packages like the highlight reel white lights media packages on ESPN?
We gotta send these.
All of us in
We gotta
North
send these to them.
people in North America will be going like, even if you were just a gym guy, gym girl,
Yeah,
whatever, you would be like, holy shit, that looks
yeah,
cool. We got you. And then if you're like, oh, later in the week there's a full live one, you'll probably tune in now
yeah,
because we got you with
absolutely.
those. And then when you tune in, if you see like the battle of the 84 pluses, it's like, oh damn. Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I'm I'm excited. That's for sure.
that's
Did you hear
awesome.
about the announcement? World Games is going raw.
Yes, I did see that. How interesting. What
What are
a
you?
interesting opportunity.
What an interesting opportunity,
Yes, I'll have
Natalie.
to see what the cards have. Would be pretty cool to go though. But
It's
that's another level
yeah.
two to it. It's very, very hard to get to, right?
It's what I do like. Okay, here's what I like. If you're taking this pathway, there's several levels to this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
First off, like most people going to Nats will be crazy. And when you go to Nats, like whatever national championships you're at,
Hmm.
if it's America, you're still, even if you never get to worlds, you'll be competing at a competition with world champions. You'll
Hmm.
see Natalie Richards, you'll see Taylor Atwood, you'll see Amanda Lawrence. Like you're like, it'll be cool. You'll have an
Yeah.
amazing time. And it's all those people. And then there's the world championships, which is getting bigger and bigger every year, and things are getting more and more hype, and it's getting crazy. But then after Worlds, World Games, Sheffield, like the opportunities for
Yeah.
like the pinnacle of lifters, like to have crazy life experiences.
Oh God, yeah. That's insane. Like imagine going to Worlds and you go to Sheffield and then somehow you get to go to World Games. That'd be crazy.
Your dad's gonna be double fisting.
Oh God.
He's gonna look like a
The
boxer.
whole
Is
way
just
there. It's just this.
it'll be your dad is gonna be so into this powerlifting by the end of your run. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh gosh.
Um, yeah, it's the wildest. Are you into like the Olympics and stuff? Like, do you watch when the Olympics roll around?
Yeah, when they roll around, there's not like anything in particular that I'm like really watching too much, but like I always have it on because it's,
Right.
once every 4 years or whatnot. So I'm gonna turn it on.
Yeah. I am like I'm that dude the exact same way. I have it on in the background the
Yeah, always
entire
have
time.
it on. Yeah.
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 It's because it's special. You know it's special.
Yep. And then no matter what time or what event you're watching, something crazy is going to happen. Like someone's going to do
Right.
something phenomenal, and you'll be like, you don't care about track, but suddenly you'll see some guy run some amazing time. You'll really get invested into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the 100-meter track event who determines like the fastest man and woman, I get super
Yeah.
duper into that.
That's really, really
That's the rock
cool.
star. Right.
Yeah.
That's the rock star one, and I'm crazy into that one. But I've like I was telling like I was talking to oh, Jessica Bittner used to do pole vault, which is
Oh, I could see her
crazy. Like
doing that. She's like,
real
she's the height for it. I could definitely see her
that's
doing
right.
that. Yeah.
So you've seen pole vault then if you know what the athletes look like? Like
Yeah, I did.
you're
I did track in back in the day, back in high school and college.
oh
Yeah.
wow. Did you do pole vault?
No, I did sprints. I'm
Okay,
like
okay,
five
okay,
foot
okay.
two over here. No.
See, I don't even know like what athletes do what in terms of but pole vault, okay, so she was explaining to me like how you have to be pretty strong in the core because it's not just you put it down, you have to actually like
Like hoist yourself.
flag, yes, and then
Yeah.
twist and push off. She's like, which makes sense. Jessica's like obviously super duper strong and athletic,
Yeah.
whatever. But I was telling her how one year I was watching the Olympics, and like again, this is like when we were saying about I just have it on in the background,
Hmm.
and at the end of the night, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired, man. I'm about to go to sleep, and I'm just
Yeah.
the Olympics are on. I'm like, what is this? What's going on right now? It's
Yeah.
pole vaulting. I don't really care. And apparently, the way pole vaulting works, they have a height and they increase the height and everybody gets like three chances or something at a
Yeah.
specific height
Yeah.
and which is a cool way of setting it, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
strongman where they have a weight in deadlift and they just increase it. It's not three attempts like powerlifting and then people eventually get knocked off. And
Hmm.
there was this one guy, he was I forget what year this was. I believe it was in Athens, Greece, and there's a Greek guy who's
Hmm.
going against the defending world champion. I might have this wrong, but he was from France. Okay.
Hmm.
So the bar gets higher and higher. and it comes down to just these two guys. It's the defending world champion and a guy representing the host nation. And I remember I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of getting into this. And you have
Yep.
just like powerlifting, like I got to see how this ends.
Yeah, you gotta
And
see what
just like
happens.
you got it, it gets you
Yeah.
right. It just like powerlifting, you have 3 attempts. So at that height, and the Greek guy hit the one, and he made it, and the crowd like 30 or more than 30,000. You know how
Yeah.
big these Olympic stadiums just go nuts. Like they're going nuts. And there's only 2 of them left. And the defending world champion from France, he's got his pole in his hand. He's staring, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh
holy
God.
shit, am I I'm
What's
like,
about to happen
I'm
right
a,
now?
I'm a pole vaulting fan now.
Yeah.
Okay. This
Yep.
podcast is turning into a pole vaulting podcast. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about starting one. He runs, dives the pole, flies up, his foot just nudges and
Yeah.
doesn't make it, and it falls, hits the ground, rolls, like hits the mats, rolls, and the way he lands on his feet, and the crowd goes, oh, like they all like, because he missed. And then
Ah.
he looks, and the pride on this Frenchman, he looks up, puts his finger up and goes,
Oh my God.
wags it like this to the crowd, like wags his finger to the crowd,
Jesus.
looking at the crowd like, no, 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 no. And I was like, the showmanship on him, the pride,
That's
he
wild.
he grabbed his pole and he's walking back for one more go. And I'm like, and he had his chest up, like, like
That's
it
right.
was so, I was like, man, this is the wildest. I have to see how this ends. And you know what? I'm a terrible storyteller right now. I honestly don't remember who wins this, but
But the
it's been
showmanship
so
here
many.
is insane.
Yeah, let's say the Frenchman actually hits it and wins, but it was amazing. I was actually
Man.
so into it, and it was pole vaulting,
Yeah.
which I
It,
have like no
it
background in.
happens. Like I remember I was watching sports in the hotel room the day that I competed because I like to turn something on. And there's the
Right.
freaking dirt bike where they go down the mountain on their little bike. I was getting into
Oh
that. I don't know
wow.
anything about biking, but the
Yeah.
announcers bring the energy and they're telling them all these times. I don't know what it means, but I'm really getting into it. Like, oh, that guy hit a 53-second downhill speed time. Tough to beat, you know?
Like saying this to yourself when the guy finishes, you're like, it's gonna be tough to beat. You don't know the times. You're like,
I know I don't
it's a
know
good
anything,
fucking
but I'm really into it.
good fucking time. And
Yep.
you're like, your boyfriend's like, are we going to hang on a second? I
I'm
gotta see.
watching
Hang
this.
on. Yeah, hang on
That's
a second. I
actually
got
what
3 more
happens.
riders. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And that's doubling back to us in the World Games, us like in the World Games going raw in Sheffield and Euro Sport putting on those clips so all these Europeans get to see it. This is it's gonna get bigger and bigger now. You came at the right time. You're 24.
Yep. I'm ready. I'm really, really just excited to see powerlifting continue to grow. I think this was the biggest worlds ever. Was it not
Yeah,
the most amount of competitors? So
100%.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be awesome. I hope people
Usually
keep
too.
joining.
Well, that's the scary part. Previous worlds, I remember when it was juniors and masters and open all in the
Hmm.
same worlds. So it was like the longest. And we
Oh
started,
man.
I, I, yeah, I was like, it was like the Olympics. It was like 2 weeks long. It lasted as long as the Olympics. It,
Really?
I
Oh
would show
God.
up. Oh, it was crazy, Matt. And I showed up. I would commentate first off every single day, like
Hmm.
multiple sessions a day for 2 weeks straight. I would do like all of the masters. I'm talking I 6-pack Lapadat commentating on 70-year-old ladies from like Norway, and she's deadlifting 90 kilos, and it's the cutest, but you're like 3-hour session, by the way. And you're
It's a
like,
little long.
and you have multiple sessions that day. It's like by the time the open rolls around, and that's why, and when the open rolled around, I would still be into it. I'm
Yeah.
still like, oh, like if you listen to this is 2019. Actually, it was still 2021. We were still doing this. So it was still all this just until 2021. So if you listen to the commentary and it was like Jesus, or it's like whatever, Russell or he 2021,
Yeah.
that's when I had already done like almost 2 weeks straight of commentary every day. And it's like,
Oof.
oh my God, hear it. So when people talk about like, oh, that was a long weekend of commentary, I'm like, that's cute,
You
man.
don't know anything about these two
Yeah,
weeks.
that's right. I got 2 week sessions under my belt. But but yeah, the world is getting bigger and bigger, and it is exciting. And do you pay attention to some of the, because you never ended up going to the junior worlds? Are you, when you follow people, are you paying attention to like 57s, 52s, just in case they move up? Like what powerlifting do you watch?
Oh, I try to watch like all of it if I can. Like I remember
Oh,
watching
really?
like
Okay.
Junior Worlds and watching like Maya, I think when she won. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
you've seen that. Okay.
Yeah, always like to tune in, and I always have it on if it's on like a weekend or something. I can just sit there and have it on in the background. So I like to tune in for all of the, especially the women's sessions, to see what's happening, kind of like where they're totaling and how the judging is, things like that. I just like to watch it as a
Yeah.
spectator.
And yeah, I mean, you could do powerlifting debates with your dad pretty soon. he'll be he'll be like, I don't know, Maya's last deadlift at Junior Worlds, I think she should have had it. That I
Yeah.
think I think the down up was a little
Yeah, when I
yeah.
go back for
And
Christmas over the holidays, we're just gonna have a very large discussion about powerlifting in the last century, I'm sure.
what about your boyfriend? I probably asked you this last time you were on. Is he into like powerlifting? Or, like, does he power lift? Is he like now getting into it where he's like, how did that all work with him?
Oh, that's a good question. So, like some backstory, like I've been with him for 6 years now, so we've been together for a hot minute. And when I first met him, like I was running and I did the Stairmaster and I squatted 135. So,
Wow.
like he honestly pushed me to a little bit harder to say, "Hey, you should, you can do 225 squat." And because he just lifted recreationally and he still does now. He just lifts and runs and it's like a healthy human. But he introduced me a little bit more to the barbell side of things. And after I surpassed him, like he just like doesn't care or anything. He doesn't watch powerlifting. He doesn't know what happens with powerlifting. He knows when I'm competing and he watches me and he, supports me, but he doesn't know any of the rules or anything like that.
What?
Yeah. Like, I mean,
He
he like
doesn't
knows, but he doesn't like know the people. He doesn't know like the competitors or anything like that, but he just knows my lifting and watches me.
really? So he
Yeah.
never, he isn't like into, did he know like who Jad was or?
No, he was, well, he'll like ask me, he'll be like, so is there anyone at the competition who's like ranked higher than you or anyone that you're excited to see?
Oh
And
my
I'll tell him,
gosh.
yeah, and I'll tell him about it. And he'll be like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, okay.
Damn. Your dad,
Yeah.
it'd be funny if he asked you that and your dad's in the room, your dad's like, what? Your dad's like, Jajaka.
Yeah,
Your
that's
dad
what it
knows all of them.
was.
She's like, Yeah, Bobby Butters. What are you talking? Your dad's wearing
Yes.
a UK t-shirt. Literal
Yeah.
Bobby Butters, right?
He
He's a super
actually
fan.
really, really liked watching Bobby Butters. He did mention that after.
Everybody does. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
fierce.
she
It's
is.
too bad. It's too bad she missed her thirds because she like celebrates like crazy too. But
I
even
know. Ah,
yeah, like everyone, it's crazy hype. But even before she goes for like a world record or her thirds, when she is staring at the bar and I don't know what the hell she's saying,
I'm
but it is
scared.
fierce. It is fierce. It is
Yeah,
like seriously straight out of a movie.
I love
I gotta
it.
ask her that. I gotta ask her, like, what do you say?
Yeah, I
If
want
she
to
can even
know.
repeat it. I want to
Yeah.
know what
She's just
what is
speaking in
going on.
like a foreign tongue, like in her head, like just
It's
whispering.
it is. There's a reason why we don't have athletes mic'd because some of it would
Yeah.
not be appropriate for Eurosport. But
Yeah.
it looks like she's summoning demons.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be, you like someone clear your mind. Bobby Butters. I want to be in Bobby Butters' mind in the warm up room, before she goes on the platform. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, she's like the sweetest lady outside.
She's so nice. Like we got
She's
to
not fierce like that at all.
no, and like it's so cute. She went up to bench and she was like really fierce, getting her zone. And then the guy was like motioning for a handoff. She's like, oh no, that's fine. And then she was like,
It was,
like the
I
second
know.
later, she was like,
It
no, you're
was
fine.
so It was so sweet too.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
so
true.
sweet.
She flipped the switch. She was like, I'm gonna murder this bar. Like, I'm gonna murder this
Yeah.
bar's family. I'm gonna burn this bar's house down. And then the guy's like, do you want him? No, thank you, love.
No,
And
thank
then
you
she
so
goes
much.
right, yeah, thank you so much. And then she goes right back to, but I will kill your kids. And she goes right back. It was
Yes,
crazy.
I love it.
Um,
She's
yeah,
the
no, it's
best.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That do you think your boyfriend will get more? See, the tough thing is it's hard to like because he was in the stands with your parents, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you were going to through osmosis, even if he's, and I respect the fact, hey, look, you don't like powerlifting's not for everybody, but even after a while, he's going to recognize, oh, this is like when he's going to be a Sheffield. Your parents will be a Sheffield, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, okay, I know who Jad Jacob is now.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming Jad's going to be there, but maybe not. I don't know. But what do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think? Do you think Jad ends up coming? Do you want her to come if you had your pick?
Oh, definitely. I think she 100% will come. I think has done, I think she hit the world record total or just slightly under it, like 99% or something crazy close. So I think she's pretty
Mm,
much guaranteed that next spot in. And I think it'll be a very, very good matchup to keep pushing that world record total. So I'm glad that we're both going to be in it for the
right.
57s. Yeah.
And you really did a number on that record, though, huh?
Well, just got to keep pushing it. Got to increase it for the for Sheffield.
That's that's where you look at that area and like, damn, man. I mean, we had to push Jad, but we also pushed that damn record, though. It is what it is. You had to
Hey,
push her.
had to
It
push
is
it.
what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
She's got a hell of a deadlift. What about Joy Namani? Did you end up talking to her at all? Do you know any have you heard anything about whether because she weighed in like 63. It
Oh,
looks as
yeah.
though she's staying 63.
That's what I saw as well. I originally thought that maybe she just did this, as a one-off thing to kind of see where she'd stack up and then maybe come back down. But it looks like, I mean, her squat really flew up, I think, when she started filling out. So maybe,
Yeah.
this is a really good indicator that this is her weight class. Because I know I think she's a little bit taller than me. I'm not quite sure. Might need to fact check that. But I think that this weight class might be the better fit for her if she's like really blowing up her lifts and feeling great. Because I think she got 240 deadlift or whatever that was, 240 and a half.
Right.
Can't
Which is
remember.
crazy.
I think she had it, but
It, the,
that's my opinion.
um, I mean, in terms of Joy Namani, two-time world champion in 52s, two-time world champion in 57s, and then broken like deadlift world records all the way through.
Yeah.
Winning 63 is going to be tough because Carla Garra's there.
Yeah.
But if she could break the deadlift world record at 63, that'd be like three different weight classes breaking the world record.
Yeah.
I mean, she's something special.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I remember watching her do all this stuff beltless too, which is
Right.
kind of insane. But I mean, she definitely should be in the conversation as like a GOAT and, probably one of the best deadlifters of all time, hands down. But I'm definitely excited to see kind of how the 63s progress next year because I think it was a much bigger total than what anyone had her predicted at based on what her previous total was at 57. So we'll have to see what happens.
For sure, she's got to be in GOAT conversation with two world titles of 52
Yeah.
and two of 57. I mean, she's a two-division world champion and two times in each two.
Yeah.
And she'll probably end up breaking the deadlift world record of weight class up. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's very difficult to do. Do you think your future, obviously, I mean, you're not done with the 57s and you got a good rivalry with Jad. I don't know what's going to happen with Sheffield, but you could definitely run it back, a rematch. Everyone's going to want to watch it. But looking ahead, do you feel at some point you might end up moving up to 63 as well? Or do you think 57 you're probably going to be a lifetime 57?
We'll just have to see how things shake out based on like how I was able to manage my diet and my training for the past pretty much year. I think I really started to see some things that were working for me and my structure of how I'm like eating and my macros and things like that. I think I got those more in tuned. So, if I can weigh in at 55.8 this year, maybe I can weigh in at 56 next year. Maybe I can weigh in at 56.2 the year next. Whatever it is, I think I'm good for a while. So if I can keep, doing these kind of cycles of eating in a surplus and cutting back down and kind of just continuing to add muscle, then it's going to be fine.
There's I get how the thing with powerlifting is the weight classes are so spread apart.
They really are. Yeah. It's a big jump because 6 kilos is what, 12 pounds or something like that. So
it's a freaking lot.
Yeah. Am I going to gain 12 pounds in a year? No.
I mean
I hope not.
I mean, life is good.
Yeah, life is good, but I don't know.
Life is good, but you made some questionable decisions that year. If you
enjoyed a few too many pizzas.
Right. But I know it's difficult. Although there is something to be said for shooting for a goal of like a dynasty, or trying to do
Yeah.
like a Taylor Atwood where you're the number one lifter in a weight class for a stretch period, or
Hmm.
even people love in sports when it's a back and forth for like 5 years.
Yeah.
If you and Jad volley this back and forth, and it's a rivalry that we all like look back and make, do you remember that era of the 57s? That's something
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
Um, that's how you bring viewers in, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely going to stay 57s for a hot minute then.
Also, what is your program for biceps? Because what the fuck happened with this? This is
That
crazy.
was the
And
best part.
Chelsea was there, and she commented, and she's like, yeah, I mean, I thought Six had this for sure. Like it looked
Ah,
like I
gotcha.
got this. And then you were like, let's take the jackets off. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
And then you took your
trying.
Team USA jacket off, and I'm like, what the hell?
That's right.
Do you do you honestly do biceps?
I honestly actually have biceps, not, peeking in, but I do biceps like twice a week and they're in
I
my program.
freaking knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. You were ready. You were peaked. You say like I wasn't peaked, but I seen your bicep peaks with all due
Yeah.
respect,
Yeah.
and you look peaked.
Yeah.
I got caught
I hit
slipping.
my do like 3 sets of 15 with my tens every week. So yeah, that's
Damn.
right.
All right. Well, it's the volume. I got caught slipping. I did see that coming. It is what it
Best
is.
part of
Hats off to
worlds,
you.
out angled
That,
Brian.
that's part of right. Well, it was a highlight. Yeah. So are you? Is it just Sheffield then? You aren't going to do an intermediary testing meet, or what do you think?
Eh, probably as of right now, no. Talk to Steve about it a little bit. We don't really see a need to unless I want to or something else fun pops up. Maybe I will hop into a meet. I know it's a little bit of ways away, so I feel like detrain maybe, or if I want to just have some fun, maybe I'll do one. But as of right now, I
Yeah.
don't really want to do. I just kind of focus on Sheffield, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
I mean, it depends on like there's something to be said for if you're like your progress has been so fast. So sometimes you want to test where you're at, but also you don't want to get injured, peaking too often, things
Yeah,
happen. And a nice deload, like not deload, but like just building blocks without
yeah.
super pushing is okay as well.
And it's always nice to have like that kind of like mental reset too, because I felt like I came off
Yes.
of nationals and I was like, I had like 2 weeks to kind of like chill. Went to, the other meets and Arnold's and got to spectate and things like that. But then it was right back in the meet prep mode, getting my diet in check again, eventually, and just focusing for the next meet. So now I can have like a little bit of more of an off season and address, some weaknesses and get stronger and just kind of like chill.
Mm. And you do coaching as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Coaching has been awesome this year so far. Like it's been honestly like the most enjoyable part of this year. It obviously might have been coaching because it's when I started my own business and I've just had so much excitement and opportunity with coaching and it's really, really fun. So I continue to kind of want to build that as well. And having a nice off season helps because you're not going to a meet worried and stressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about yourself peaking. You
Yeah.
could like worry about other
You
people.
can
And
worry about other people. Yeah.
when did you launch your own coaching?
January of this year, I separated. I was an independent contractor for forever, for like, I think 3 or 4 years. And now I have my own coaching business and it's really, really like exciting is the best word for it.
Talk about it. Well, first off, how do people get a hold of you? Just so anyone listening.
Yeah. You can email me at natalie.powerlifting or plcoaching@gmail.com or my Instagram. I have everything linked in my bio, nat_lifting.
Mm.
And really the most exciting part has just been being able to do more like personal phone calls and getting to chat with my athletes on like a daily basis and doing Zoom calls. And everyone there is just so great and supportive. Like we have a giant Discord where we can all chat and hang out.
Oh yeah.
So if
Okay.
someone's like competing, we'll like watch them compete, or it's just like a nice little time.
It's cool to build like a little community, right?
Yeah, it is. You got your homies, support
Yeah.
others. I remember I had 2 athletes competing at CNATS, USAPL, and they hadn't met each other beforehand. And one was actually right in front of the other in the same flight. So they met each other like on the platform because one was
Oh,
going
no
right in front of the
kidding.
other. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. And talk about good timing for you. You launched this the year you end up winning worlds, and that can only help you in terms of like every title you win, appearances at Sheffield, and you've seen like what social media gets blown up after you like win worlds, win Sheffield, and what
Mhm.
this is going to do for you. This is a viable option for you now,
Yeah. Yeah.
to start
Exactly.
working for yourself and doing your own thing.
Yep. That's why, I was full-time work and I've stepped back and I'll probably continue easing back and going full-time coaching come fall is the plan. Just kind of slowly stepping away and just accepting this new role. And I really want to get more into powerlifting, especially watching people like Tana who really take this as their life and like calling and can do all these like seminars and can inspire other lifters, and just like I think that's awesome. And so hopefully one day I can get to that point as well.
He grinds.
I
Like
love it. It's awesome.
he left Worlds and went straight to a fitness expo
Expo of
and
some
was like,
sorts, yeah.
yeah, he's just like, it's crazy. And the French too, like it's not just Penna, but Turbo Tiff, Jad, Leah,
Mm-hmm.
all of them do reffing, all of them do like
Yeah.
coaching, all of them do like are like all of the grunt works. They hold competition, they hold meets, they have a meet this weekend actually, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm flying out to do commentary. Like I'm freaking so
Are
happy and
you
so
ready?
oh my it's I don't know if I'll make it. It's
Oh
two
my God.
days. But it's so like the atmosphere there in France, and they've developed into a powerlifting nation, which is so
Yep.
out of the blue, but not at the. I guess they have enough stars now,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's cool to see, and you
It's
can if
awesome.
you want to lean into it, you could build like you
Yeah.
right now are a world champion. You got some big showdowns on the horizon, so people are excited for you. You got Sheffield coming, which is going to be crazy. Tons of media
Yeah.
opportunities, and yeah, like you could. Who knows how far you could take this?
I'm really excited, honestly, especially with coaching. And then I was talking to the owners of the gym, and they're taking their ref tests for Powerlifting America. So I think I'm going to hop in with them and try to go ahead and be a ref as well. So I get more involved and
Oh
just go from
wow!
there. Yeah. There's like so many opportunities here now. You got to take them, start rolling with them.
Well, I mean, if you're going to be a coach, it helps to take your ref test and ref a little, and
Yeah.
you know that.
And see that different anatomy and what looks like, squat depth, and just kind of have that different perspective for sure. Yeah.
And you know all of the rules. There's so many people that
Mm-hmm.
are a phenomenal at programming, but maybe not phenomenal at the actual game day handling. It helps to be able to be like, no, I can handle,
Mm-hmm.
and I know all of the rule sets. So if I need to go to the jury to appeal or whatever the heck, like it's a huge asset to have.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just talking to people about, you know, when you're back there, if you're handling or whatnot, and then telling them if they have infractions or if they, whatever card, yellow card, blue card, whatever, you're like,
What
okay,
that
it's your knees.
means. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you
it's your
fix that?
knees.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. And a lot of people don't. It's not common knowledge. So 100% leaning into it. Plus, you get back to the sport. So it's good.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you want to play the name game where I say a name? You could give me 1 word, 2 word story, as much or as little as you want. Doesn't really matter.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right. All right. Let's do it. Let me pull up the name game. Wait, that's not it. Okie dokie artichoke. Let's do the first one here. This one's easy. Everyone probably sees it coming. Jajako.
Uh Champion and strong.
Well said. Um, Maya da Silva.
I think of her as like crazy energetic because I remember watching her take her last deadlift, and when she won or got to bronze, I remember her hype. So just
Yeah.
energetic. That was awesome
She's
though.
one of the people in the warm-up room. She's always kind of moving and like
Yeah,
she brings the energy. The nervous energy works if you can
it
channel it.
does. It does.
Joy Namani.
Joy Money. I don't know why I think she's like 7 feet tall in my head. I know she's not, but that's what comes to mind. Maybe it's her
Uh,
camera angles on Instagram. Like that's the first thing that pops in
seven.
my head.
So Joy Namani, 7 feet tall. That's a fact.
Yes, that's a
That's a
fact.
fact.
Do not fact check me. I know.
That's good. I hope no one's fact checking me when I drop these stories. Bobby Butters.
Fierce and quads is the first thing that pops to my mind. She's
She
insane.
got. Hey, listen, I'm not getting caught slipping by her. I see her coming. All
No,
right. If
yeah,
she's like,
don't pose up with her.
keep your team jacket on, put a hoodie on. I'm not playing with that.
hmm
Sleen the Machine.
Um, I guess rivalry and USAPL is the first thing that pops into mind.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
brings you back to your USAPL. She was your first rival. You got new ones now, and
Yeah.
then pretty soon. I mean, if she makes an American team, it's tough because she's got Meg Scanlon and blah blah blah. But
This
you'll be
national is gonna be
teammates.
tough.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's kind of cool where like you can be rivals at a national level, but then teammates at a world level and supporting each other and
Yeah.
everything changed. But nationals is going to be
It's gonna be
fireworks in
tough.
so many different weight classes. A lot of
Yeah.
people are coming over, and it's going to be I don't know. We'll
Like
see what
last like
happens.
this last year was good. Like it was some good battles, but I think coming up, you can't just walk in now and try to make the world's team. It's gonna be tough.
Like, yeah, I mean, if you look at the men's, when Petrie comes, I don't. Heiko's obviously going to Sheffield, but like you got
Right.
Gavin Aiden, like from American 93s, you got Gavin Aiden, Heiko, Petrie, and maybe Russ if he goes 93,
Yep.
depending on like that's just crazy. That's
Yeah.
insane.
And there's only limited amount of spots. We can't send
Two
everyone.
at
Yeah.
most two, maybe one, depending on how everything shuffles. All those other guys that I just named who are all quality and could win in any given year, gotta stay home and watch.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is.
So
Be
anyways,
good
yeah, P
though.
and Nats
Be a
is
good thing to
P and
watch.
PA Nats is gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I can't wait. Um, how about this one? Wasker Carpio.
Teammate, uh just a really, really good friend. And I'm off to listen to his podcast now, but I was very,
Got to.
very
Hey, I'm telling you, you're gonna message him afterwards.
yeah,
You're
don't
gonna be
listen
like,
to this
whoa.
podcast. Watch or listen to Wascars.
Well, by the time you hear this one, you probably
Oh
heard
yeah, true.
Waskar's. Yeah, yeah.
True,
So it's
true.
all good. But so people are listening to that was a good podcast. That was a good podcast, right? Another teammate of yours, Team USA, Taylor Atwood.
I didn't get to meet Taylor Atwood at all. I didn't
Oh
even see him.
no!
Yes, I didn't see him
Damn,
once. But I can
that
only think of his
sucks.
hair because that's what people talk about these days
Of
is
course,
people's hair. Yeah.
of course. Yeah, that sucks. Wasker met him, because he
Dang.
stuck around a little bit, but he'll be around. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He's not going nowhere. You'll see
I'm
him.
sure I'll
Will
pop
you
into
be?
him next year or something.
Yeah. Will you be? You might not even be a PA Nats then. I don't know how the qualification is going to
I don't
work
know
for
either.
Worlds. We'll see. Whatever.
We'll
We'll
see.
cross
I'll
that
figure
bridge
it
when we
out.
get there.
Yeah.
Um, Another teammate, Brian Lee.
Brian, he's just think of him as like a super chill guy. When we were doing our media the night beforehand together, I asked him, I was like, "Are you nervous?" And he was like, I wasn't really nervous, but now that I'm here, a little nervous. And I was like, okay.
You're
Like,
like, that's a yes.
that's the yes,
It's
okay,
all good.
please.
How
Yeah.
was how was the media, by the way? Because there was like, I know this is your first Worlds. The media engagement has every single Worlds. Now it's SPD wants interviews, IPF does interviews.
Hmm.
I mean, there's so much more media now. Powerlifting America does like a
Yeah.
press conference and stuff. There's like, how was that? How did you deal with it?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome that we were bringing, this kind of aspect and more entertainment, more viewership, like more interaction between us and people watching. I thought it was awesome. And, none of it was like too much where it was, hindering my performance or my attitude or
Hmm.
bothering the athletes by any means. No, it was perfect. Like we had Powerlifting America interviews beforehand and after we competed, like sit down. And they also did like some quick, like 5-10 minute question or 5-10 second questions in between squat, bets, and deadlift if we wanted to talk. So I did some of that when I was walking to the bathroom. And then SPD also did, I think, a little bit of interviewing after competing. So it was spaced out to where it wasn't, too much.
Hmm.
And it was just cool to kind of like interact and get like I don't know. It felt like we were real athletes. It was really, really fun.
It's and that's what's going to grow the sport.
Yeah,
Like we
that
know what social media does for us,
yeah.
and people need to like quote unquote buy in. And then when the people like see the stories, hear, get to know you a little more each and every time. So then when Sheffield rolls around, like I'm team Nat and I want to do this, whatever. Like I'm
Yeah.
rallying behind her and I hope she wins or whatever. It helps. This is how we're gonna get more people in.
Yep, exactly. And like I like watching them too. Like I know I watched Chelsea's and I watched Amanda's like post press conference interviews and everything. And I'm sure SBD will release more things as well. But I find them entertaining. I like to hear people's backstories and what they were thinking too on the platform.
Powerlifting America's killing it
Yeah.
with
Shout
their
out to
social
Paul.
media. I mean,
Paul's
he's a
behind all of
workhorse.
this.
I can't believe how much that guy's working. It's
Yeah.
insane. But Powerlifting America's social media is freaking like so good, innovative, creative. Everything they're doing, it's
Yeah.
phenomenal. Another Team USA teammate, Delaney Wallace.
I didn't meet any of these people. I didn't get to see
Did
any
me-
of
did you
them.
did you did you see him by chance?
I
Like compete, like the competition? I mean,
I watched it on the live stream. I saw his shoes. Saw his
what a
sparkly
showman! What a
shoes.
showman! Talk about
My
the pizzazz on
dad
that.
texted me about him. He was like, "Have you seen Delaney Walls guy?" Like,
Really?
yes.
See, your dad's becoming a fan, and
Yeah.
that's how you get noticed too. Like, obviously he's dancing and doing his things,
Yeah, he
Delaney,
said that he was like the showman or something. Yeah. Or a
for
character, I think he
sure.
said. Yeah.
He's a character. But he's also. It's too bad you haven't met him. I mean, you'll meet him at Sheffield, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll see him soon. Yeah.
He is a super. Like I say it every podcast, and everyone's like, "Dude, you always say this," but he is such a nice guy. He's like super friendly and easy to talk to.
Awesome.
And yeah, you'll Sheffield's good because it's not like Worlds where there's a kabillion people. It's so weird because it's such a massive event.
Hmm.
Thousands of people flying in from all over the world. Like this is powerlifting. They fly,
Yeah.
buy plane tickets, hotel, tickets, concessions to watch you perform.
That's awesome.
Like that's crazy. Like international flights to watch you perform and do your thing, Nat. That's it's crazy
It,
to wrap your head around
it
to think
is.
like that's
That's the
it's
future though. That's the future of powerlifting, I think.
this is the dream we always wanted.
Yeah.
And so anyways, what I was gonna say is despite all that, how crazy the crowd is and how crazy the event is, the venue at Worlds where there's always people in the hotel, always whatever, it's the same Sheffield, but when you go for lunch at the venue, like lunch cafe, like
Hmm.
restaurant, it's just like a handful of women, a handful of men here and there because it's it's not hundreds of lifters like Worlds. So it
Ah, interesting.
feels more of a an intimate gathering where you get to know people. Hey, how like so when you see a Delaney, it's easier to roll up. Like you will start seeing whoever makes it, whoever comes through wildcards, whatever, can easily hang out in groups, get to know people and whatever. It's a little bit different. It's I don't know. Sheffield's different in so many ways. Now, having said that, you will have like people will be flying in and will be just it's I don't even know what to expect this year because last year was wild and this year's going to be even bigger and wilder.
Oof,
But we'll
that's
see.
awesome. I'm excited
Yeah.
now. We have like
Yeah.
7 months or however long it is.
You- yeah.
It'll fly
We'll
by
see.
though, I know.
It's going to fly by. I don't want
Yeah,
to miss my summer, so I'll try to enjoy that. But yeah.
I know.
Um last name on this one, Natalie Richards.
Hmm. World champion, I guess.
There it is. That's a fact. How crazy is that to say right now?
Feels pretty crazy. I'm hoping in the next like couple weeks or so I can really accept it, and it's just like every time I think back about it or watch a video, I get like hyped up again and I just feel the energy on the platform again. It's just awesome feeling.
For the rest of your life.
Yep, always gonna have that.
Nobody can ever, it's it. No one will ever take that from you. You
Yeah.
were, you contended in a sport and became a world champion, legit world champion. Like this is legit world champion. This is not some small time fed or whatever. People will be like, yeah, they watch Euro sport, take a look at all the highlights, whatever. Like it's legit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing that congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, couldn't be happier for you. You did a phenomenal job. 9 for 9. Did you have like 27 white lights?
I think so. I don't think I had one red on the day, so it was a good day.
It was legitimately the perfect day. And
Perfect day.
I can't wait to see what happens to Sheffield. It's going to
Neither.
be bonkers. The whole event's going to be absolutely insane, and your dad is going to lose his mind.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
I,
be
I
insane.
want it. Does he drink, your dad?
He'll take a beer, yeah.
Oh, he'll take a beer at Sheffield. Let me tell you, I like how you worded. He'll take a beer.
He'll take a
He'll,
beer.
yeah, yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. That crowd is. Your dad is gonna die out there. He's gonna love it. And your boyfriend who's so into powerlifting,
Yeah.
this is the one that's gonna sell him. If he feels Sheffield and he's in the audience with your parents, he'll be like, all right, that's it. I'm in. Let's do this. He's gonna see Jesus Oliveris and he's gonna see what
Yeah.
he's gonna see. Like, all right, that's a wrap. Because
Yeah. He I was about to
you
say
guys,
he watched me on the V8 Pro and he saw Ray Williams squat and he was like, it's pretty cool.
oh, wait until he sees Jesus Oliveris at
Yeah.
Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it's cool because it's condensed. So, like, obviously, you guys left after you had competed, but everybody, all the world
Right.
champs are going to be there. So, he'll get a condensed version, and we'll
Awesome.
see what he says. That's what I'm trying to sell it on
I'll give
eBay,
him
by the way.
notes so he knows who everyone is.
Yeah, or your dad will. Your
Or
dad will
my
shoot
dad
him some
will.
podcasts. Your dad will be like, listen to this fucking podcast. This Wasker kid. It's gonna break your heart. You're gonna love him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. There'll be a couple storylines where he's like, all right, I'm in. All right, all
Yeah.
right, all right. But anyways, listen, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. We'll talk. We'll keep in touch. I'll see you for sure at Sheffield, but
Yes.
if I see you at PA Nats, because you're handling or coaching or whatever the heck,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, whatever.
I think I will actually be handling there. So
More than
I'll probably
likely.
see you then.
Who knows how many your athlete roster when all this settles in and people like, I'm going to be coached by a world champ. It can't hurt as a casting, as a calling card. I'm going to tell you that
It's
right now.
true. It's true.
But
Well, thank you so much
anyways,
for having me on, though. This was fun.
you bet. And for everybody listening, please do give us high ratings and subscribe. And until next time, six pack Lapadat, six up, and we are out.